Hello. Thank you all so much for joining me and studying A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students. I'm Willie from the Ozarks, and we're ready for Lesson 89 in A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the original edition, and it's a review of Lesson 77 and 78. 77 being, I am entitled to miracles. And 78, let miracles replace all grievances. Wow, wouldn't you rather have a miracle than a grievance? Well, that's what you get to choose between. Well, let's look at it here. On March the 30th of 2023, hey, before we read that, let me tell you some things going on around the world. Ram Navami is going on in India today. Take a Walk in the Park Day, Pencil Day, National Doctors Day, National I Am in Control Day, National Virtual Vacation Day. Well, what technology can give us. World Bipolar Day. Okay, anyway. Lesson 89. These are our review ideas for today. I am entitled to miracles. I am entitled to miracles because I am under no laws but God's. His laws release me from all grievances and replace them with miracles. And I would accept the miracles in place of the grievances, which are but illusions that hide the miracles beyond. Now I would accept only what the laws of God entitle me to have, that I may use it on behalf of the function He has given me. I am entitled to miracles. You might use these suggestions for specific applications of this idea. So if you're tempted and you want to hold a grievance, tell yourself, behind this is a miracle to which I am entitled. Or, let me not hold a grievance against you and name the person, but offer you the miracle that belongs to you instead. Again on that one. Let me not behold a grievance against you and name them, but offer you the miracle that belongs to you instead. And the last example he gives is, seen truly, this offers me a miracle. Seen truly, this offers me a miracle. So when you're feeling, kind of discouraged or tempted to be upset, remind yourself, seen truly, this offers me a miracle, because you can replace that grievance with a miracle. And that's our next lesson, 78 review. Let miracles replace all grievances. By this idea do I unite my will with the Holy Spirit's and perceive them as one. Let miracles replace all grievances. And he says, by this idea do I unite my will with the Holy Spirit's and perceive them as one. By this idea do I accept my release from hell. By this idea do I express my willingness to have all my illusions be replaced with truth, according to God's plan for salvation. Again on that sentence, by this idea, let miracles replace all grievances. By this idea do I express my willingness to have all my illusions be replaced with truth, according to God's plan for my salvation. I would make no exceptions and no substitutes. I want all of heaven and only heaven, as God wills me to have. Useful specific forms for applying this idea would be, I would not hold this grievance apart from my salvation. Or, let our grievances be replaced by miracles, and then name the person that you are being triggered to be discouraged or upset or angry or whatever about. Name that person. Let our grievances be replaced by miracles, and then name the person. And the last example he gives is, beyond this is the miracle by which all my grievances are replaced. So if you can't really see what a better way to look at it, but you can sense that you're upset, that you're clearly not peaceful, you're not sane at the moment, you're not in the kingdom of heaven in your awareness at that moment, then just simply by faith remind yourself Beyond this is the miracle by which all my grievances are replaced. And then rest in knowing that it'll be shown to you, or you'll be shown what you need so that you don't have to be boiling in a grievance. Okay, I am entitled to miracles. Let miracles replace all grievances. Let us look in our text, and we're about halfway through in chapter 9, the correction of error, Roman numeral 9, the decision to forget. And we read paragraph 76, but let's read it again. A lot in that one. As a matter of fact, the last sentence in 75 starts off by, or finishes up that paragraph by saying, heal your brothers simply by accepting God for them. Let's keep that in mind, that we're to be healers. We're supposed to be the salt of the earth. And the way we do it is by seeing God in our brothers and sisters. That's how we bring the kingdom of heaven now, knowing that love is here now. Heal your brothers simply by accepting God for them. Your minds are not separate, and God has only one channel for healing because He has but one Son. His remaining communication link with all His children joins them together and them to Him. To be aware of this is to heal them, because it is the awareness that no one is separate, and so no one is sick. To believe that a son of God can be sick is to believe that part of God can suffer. Love cannot suffer because it cannot attack. Love cannot suffer. Why? Because it cannot attack. The remembrance of love, therefore, brings invulnerability with it, because you're letting go of attack. And you get to recognize your true self, your invulnerable nature. Paragraph 77. Do not side with sickness in the presence of a son of God, even if he believes in it, for your acceptance of God in him acknowledges the love of God which he has forgotten. Your recognition of him as part of God teaches him the truth about himself, which he is denying. Would you strengthen his denial of God and thus lose sight of yourself? Of course not. That's not what we want to do, is it? Would you strengthen his denial of God by identifying with that he is sick and thus lose sight of yourself? Or would you remind him of his wholeness and remember your Creator with him? To believe a son of God is sick is to worship the same idol as he does. God created love, not idolatry. All forms of idolatry are caricatures of creation, taught by sick minds which are too divided to know that creation shares power and never usurps it. Sickness is idolatry, because it is the belief that power can be taken from you. Yet this is impossible, because you are part of God, who is all power. (78) A sick God must be an idol made in the image of what its maker thinks he is. And that is exactly what the ego does perceive in a son of God, a sick God, self-created, self-sufficient, very vicious, and very vulnerable. Is this the idol you would worship? Is this the image you would be vigilant to save? Are you really afraid of losing this? Look calmly at the logical conclusion of the ego's thought system and judge whether its offering is really what you want, for this is what it offers you. To obtain this, you are willing to attack the divinity of your brothers and thus lose sight of your divinity. And you are willing to keep it hidden and to protect this idol, which you think will save you from the dangers which the idol itself stands for, but which do not exist. Idols are illusions. 79. But your belief can make them real. There is no idolaters in the kingdom, but there is great appreciation for every soul which God created because of the calm knowledge that each one is part of Him. God's Son knows no idols, but He does know His Father. Health in this world is the counterpart of value in heaven. Health in this world is the counterpart of value in heaven. It is not my merit that I contribute to you by my love. It is not my merit that I contribute to you, but my love. For you do not value yourselves. Let's read that one more time. It is not my merit that I contribute to you, but my love. For you do not value yourselves. When you do not value yourself, you become sick. But my value of you can heal you because the value of God's Son is one. Wow, so Jesus is saying that He sees our wholeness, our oneness with Him, and that we can do this with others, is what He's really trying to inspire us to do. When I said, my peace I give unto you, I meant it. Peace came from God through me to you. It was for you, although you did not ask. 80. When a brother is sick, it is because he is not asking for peace, and therefore does not know he has it. Wow, look at that. So what Jesus did for us, He wants us to now do for others. When a brother is sick, it is because he is not asking for peace, and therefore does not know he has it. The acceptance of peace is the denial of illusion, and sickness is an illusion. Yet every son of God has the power to deny illusions anywhere in the kingdom merely by denying them completely in himself. I can heal you because I know you. I know your value for you, and it is this value that makes you whole. A whole mind is not idolatrous and does not know of conflicting laws. I will heal you merely because I have only one message, and it is true. Your faith in it will make you whole when you have faith in me. 81. I do not bring God's message with deception, and you will learn this as you learn that you always receive as much as you accept. You could accept peace now for everyone you meet and offer them perfect freedom from all illusions because you heard, but have no other gods before Him, or you will not hear. God is not jealous of the gods you make, but you are. You would save them and serve them because you believe that they made you. You think they are your father because you are projecting onto them the fearful fact that you made them to replace God. Yet when they seem to speak to you, remember that nothing can replace God, and whatever replacements you have attempted are nothing. 82. Very simply then, you may believe you are afraid of nothingness, but you are really afraid of nothing. Very simply then, you may believe you are afraid of nothingness, but you are really afraid of nothing. And in that awareness, you are healed. You will hear the God you listen to. You made the God of sickness, and by making Him, you made yourself able to hear Him. Yet you did not create Him because He is not the will of the Father. He is therefore not eternal, and will be unmade for you the instant you signify your willingness to accept only the eternal. If God has but one Son, there is but one God. You share reality with Him because reality is not divided. To accept other gods before Him is to place other images before yourself. 83. You do not realize how much you listen to your gods and how vigilant you are on their behalf. Yet they exist only because you honor them. Place honor where it is due, and peace will be yours. It is your inheritance from your real Father. You cannot make your Father, and the Father you made did not make you. Honor is not due to illusions, for to honor them is to honor nothing. Yet fear is not due them either, for nothing cannot be fearful. You have chosen to fear love because of its perfect harmlessness. And because of this fear, you have been willing to give up your own perfect helpfulness and your own perfect help. The last paragraph in this section, 84. Only at the altar of God will you find peace. And this altar is in you because God put it there. His voice still calls you to return, and He will be heard when you place no other gods before Him. You can give up the god of sickness for your brothers. In fact, you would have to do so if you give him up for yourself. For if you see him anywhere, you have accepted him. And if you accept him, you will bow down and worship him, because he was made as God's replacement. He is the belief that you can choose which God is real. Although it is perfectly clear that this has nothing to do with reality, it is equally clear that it has everything to do with reality as you perceive it. Wow, catch that. He is the belief that, let's just look at that last paragraph once again. Only at the altar of God will you find peace. And this altar is in you because God put it there. Remember our lesson just a few days ago? My salvation comes from me. Well, it's inside you. That's where God put. This altar is in you because God put it there. His voice still calls you to return, and he will be heard when you place no other gods before him. There's the authority problem. Just don't worship idols. Submit to peace. Submit to joy. It's what you want anyway. You can give up the god of sickness for your brothers. In fact, you would have to do so if you give him up for yourself. We're all in this together. What you do to your brother, you are doing to yourself. So he says you can give up the god of sickness for your brothers. In fact, you would have to do so if you give him up for yourself. For if you see him anywhere, you have accepted him. Wow, the god of sickness. We're not to even see him anywhere. See reality, not the illusions that everybody in this world would say, well, yeah, I'm seeing that's going on. You're insane not to think that that person's sick. But we're learning to listen to a different drummer, aren't we? Something that is inside. For if you see him anywhere, you have accepted him. Let's back up. You can give up the god of sickness for your brothers. In fact, you would have to do so if you give him up for yourself. For if you see him anywhere, you have accepted him. And if you accept him, you will bow down and worship him, because he was made as God's replacement. He is the belief that you can choose which God is real. Although it is perfectly clear that this has nothing to do with reality, it is equally clear that it has everything to do with reality as you perceive it. So we're starting to learn that we can see a new reality that was not what we perceived while we were still worshiping idols, while we were still holding grievances. So if you accept him, for if you see him anywhere, the god of sickness, you have accepted him. And if you accept him, you will bow down and worship him, because he was made as God's replacement. He is the belief that you can choose which God is real. He is the belief that you can choose which God is real. Although it is perfectly clear that this has nothing to do with reality, it is equally clear that it has everything to do with reality as you perceive it. Okay. Hey, let me tell you about, before we go back and take a look at our lesson today, 87, I will there be light. There is no will but God's. 89, I am entitled to miracles. Let miracles replace all grievances. Let me tell you about another type of lettuce out of the Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Catalog, and it's the Merlot. And it says it's a 55-day lettuce, reputed to be absolutely the darkest red lettuce in existence, which should make it tops for anthocyanin content as well. Those anthocyanins are those, what do they call those things? Anyway, they're healthy. I was trying to think of the other term they used for those. Anyway, leaf lettuce with wavy to frilly leaf margins and very crisp, waxy leaves, excellent bolt resistance, and good cold tolerance for a late fall to winter crop. Makes an amazing salad. Okay, and that's the Merlot lettuce. And of course, your lettuce is the Lactuca sativa, is the genus and species. We want to learn those genus and species, maybe not so much for garden plants as much, even though it's helpful there too. But it's certainly helpful when you're identifying plants in the wild, and to go, because there's so many different names for different plants. Okay, well, let's see. 89, I am entitled to miracles. Let miracles replace all grievances. Be sure to do your 2 15-minute longer practice periods today, where you spend the first 2 or 3 minutes reading the first lesson, being 77. I am entitled to miracles of a morning or the earlier part of the day, and then the latter part of the day or the afternoon or evening, say lesson 78. Let miracles replace all grievances, and then on top of those 2 15-minute periods, be sure to do try to bring it to memory throughout the day, and apply it to any disturbance of your joy that you might be experiencing. Okay, well, let's see what we can do. I am entitled to miracles. I am entitled to miracles. I will not trade miracles for grievances. I want only what belongs to me. God has established miracles as my right. I am entitled to miracles. Let miracles replace all grievances. Let miracles replace all grievances. Let me behold my Savior in this one you have appointed as the one for me, to ask to lead me to the holy light, in which he stands that I may join with him. Let miracles replace all grievances. Let miracles replace all grievances. I am entitled to miracles. Let miracles replace all grievances. I am entitled to miracles. Let miracles replace all grievances. I am entitled to miracles. Let miracles replace all grievances.